What's going on YouTube? This is Chris, back at you again with another video. So today I'm talking about Suicide Squad. The government decides to send these criminals on missions where if they died, nobody would care because they're all bad guys. So this movie is again in a bit of controversy, not unlike the last DC movie, because the reviewer scores are not good. Rotten Tomatoes, it currently has a 26-27. But as far as fan appeal, it's at a 74%. So critics hate it, fans love it. I'm going to give you my opinion and then probably explain things a little bit. It starts off like really good and then it gets like meh, slow towards the middle in the second half. There's a lot of like stalling and the characters are kind of in like one place in one setting for half the movie and it may lose some people's interest. But if you are into just your typical summer action flicks, if you like action comedies, if you're a fan of DC and a lot of these characters, you'll probably enjoy it. If like action comedies aren't really your thing, you may not like this movie very much. So this will probably be a movie where you may like it, your friends may like it, your parents might not. It might not do anything for them. So just letting you know. All right, so. Now I'm going to go into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, like, leave now. Like, go. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so the good. Will Smith does a great job. I mean, a lot of people, kind of see him as like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air guy, but Will Smith, you give him a decent script, and he is a good actor. Like, the guy is just charming, and he brings that charm in this movie, and he, I think, really, as far as being like one of the lead characters, he really he's one of the pillars I think holds up this movie and keeps it from being bad. Because like Will Smith, he's just a charming dude. You could honestly make any movie just watching this guy just living his life, and you would just enjoy it. So yeah, Will Smith does a great job. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. Super crazy, super charming. A lot of the hype of this movie is for that character, and she does a really good job. I hope she's able to be Harley Quinn in future movies, and like if they ever did the Suicide Squad 2 or like a Batman movie, Harley Quinn needs to be in it because she and Will Smith are pretty much like the heart and soul of this movie. Viola Davis as well knocks out of the park as Amanda Waller. I mean, she's intimidating, she's menacing, and one of the problems I'll get to later, Viola Davis is like, to me, she's more scary and intimidating than the movie's actual villain, because Amanda Waller isn't the villain, but Viola Davis does a great job. I mean, she's pretty much in control in almost every scene she's in. Jay Hernandez as El Diablo also does a really good job. His character, at first, they're kind of like, okay, what are they going to do with him? But he has a moment in the movie where you're just like, wow, okay, now, because I didn't know anything about this character before seeing the movie, and now I want to learn more about him. Like, he has a moment that is just pretty cool and badass, and you're just like, okay, yeah, El Diablo's great. Also, the Joker. Joker's also, he's pretty good. Like, everyone's going to compare him to Heath Ledger. He's not on a Heath Ledger level just because he really doesn't get that much screen time. Like, there's no, like, why is so serious? Like, there's no Joker scene like that. But for the scenes he was in, I enjoyed him. I think that if we got this Joker in a Batman film with him and Batman going at it, him and Ben Affleck, I think you will probably get something really good out of it. Everyone else, Rick Flag, Enchantress, Boomerang, Killer Croc, Katana, Slipknot, yeah, the rest of them kind of have moments, but they're not as strong as the other characters. I think you definitely could have taken Katana, Killer Croc out of this movie, and it wouldn't have made a big difference. Captain Boomerang does have some funny moments. There's one in particular that like reminds me of a friend of mine, but they're not integral to the movie, and I think for certain people they'll be kind of distracting. If you're a comic book fan and you kind of know like someone like Captain Boomerang is just a silly one-off character, it probably won't bother you. But if you're for like the average moviegoer, you'd be like, okay, why is he in this movie? Most of the good parts of this movie revolve around the characters and the actors playing them. I like the squad. I like the team. I like the team dynamic. But now that we're going over to the bad, The problem with this movie isn't the actors, it's more of the pacing and the story and the villain. Okay, so spoiler alert again, the villain is Enchantress. Enchantress, if you've seen her in the trailers, she's the total villain. She's not even really a part of the Suicide Squad at all. And it's kind of strange because a lot of the time she's just speaking in her demonic voice and just like doing a weird like belly dance thing and like creating monsters. But I think a villain like her didn't fit with the rest of the squad as far as them being criminals. And yeah, she just wasn't very intimidating or like scary. She kind of has like this relationship thing with Rick Flag, another member of the team, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it didn't really do a lot for me. And that's probably one of the main complaints we hear about this movie is the villain. And as far as the pacing goes, the beginning is really good because like, you're meeting the squad, you're finding out who the villain is, you're understanding what's going on in this world and this story. But the second half is just kind of the Suicide Squad moving through this city and fighting these like nameless monsters and them like arguing with each other. They're just in this one place for so long before they finally get to like Enchantress's like chamber and fight her and like her brother. I think his name's like Incubus or whatever. He's like another demon monster thing. And I think that's the part of the movie where it gets slow. Because I was into it before then, and at a certain point, I catch myself like, check my phone a little bit. I went and saw it with my sister and my dad, and they're kind of losing interest and whatnot, and the plot is all over the place, and I think that's part of the reason that a lot of mainstream critics and mainstream people may not have liked the movie. I think if you're an average movie fan, you'll probably be okay with it, but it does get very slow towards the middle. If I want to find a way to like fix this movie, I like the cast, I like the team. You might want to get rid of one or two of them, but I think the biggest thing is that if you kind of had them go on, say, like a smaller mission before, and maybe the mission either went really well or it went like haywire, and then you didn't have like the final battle with Enchantress in the city to the last half an hour, I think that would have helped with the pacing a little bit. Because it is very long, and it's very cliche, the villains are creating this gigantic, portal in the sky to take over the world or do something, and we've seen that kind of thing before. So if I were to give this movie a score, I would give it a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I think most comic book movie fans would enjoy it at least somewhat, and if you're not into comic book movies as much, I don't think this is going to be the one that sells you. Like, if you're one of those people who's just not in the comic book movie genre at all, like, this isn't going to be the movie that changes your mind. Oh, so yeah, DC, man, DC and those critics just aren't getting along. And I feel bad, honestly, because, like, I didn't like Batman v Superman all that much, but, DC fans, a lot of them do, they just want a franchise. You see Marvel making all these movies and spinoffs, and DC fans, I think, really, they just want the same thing, man. And I want one of their movies. I just want their franchise to do well. So hopefully Suicide Squad makes a decent amount of money so they don't have to go and cancel projects. I mean, the Wonder Woman trailer looked good. I'm looking forward to that. I think now that DC's had like Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad, which were all divisive. I think DC in the critics' minds, in order for them to get really good scores, like, they're gonna have to nail it with one of their movies, because Marvel kind of got easy, where like their first like movie as far as their cinematic universe was like the first Iron Man, and that movie was a hit. And then from then on, most of the Marvel movies have been, at worst they've been okay, like Iron Man 2 or like Thor 2, and at best they've been like amazing, like Civil War. So I think what DC really needs, like, they need a movie where they can knock it out of the park. I hope maybe that Wonder Woman is that movie, or Justice League, because they really just need like a home run movie to just turn this negative press attention. Because I think as long as they keep coming out with just average movies or decent movies, they're just gonna get bashed by critics, even if the movies really aren't that bad. Because Marvel produced movies that were just okay. But since Marvel's made so many movies and so many good ones, even when Marvel has a movie that's subpar, people get over it because they're like, okay, it's just a bump in the road. Like, Marvel's made tons of good stuff before. So I think right now DC is just battling for their reputation amongst critics. Yeah, so man, I really hope that DC gets it together and they just have their just knockout movie, because I really do want this franchise to succeed, and I understand the fans' pain because these fans just want movies and the critics are just beating them over the head. So hopefully it happens. I may go into more detail about my thoughts between Marvel and DC in a later video, but yeah, for now, that's my opinion on Suicide Squad. If you like this video, you can go ahead and subscribe or check out my Facebook page. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.